Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Could we have a seat and come to order, please? Mr. City Manager. We're going to call to order the City Council meeting of July 30th, 2013. Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Put your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam City Clerk, could you call the roll?
A quorum is present.
Before we get started, we have a commendation, and I want to remind everyone and warn everyone early that if you speak out from the audience in a rude or disrespectful manner, that you can be ejected from the council chambers. So let's not do that. On this occasion, we'd like to recognize and commend Consolidated Disposal Service on their 1-year anniversary here in Inglewood, providing state-of-the-art, cost-effective, and convenient solid waste disposal and superior environmental and recycling programs. CDS has shown themselves to be an outstanding partner to the city. They've supported the city's ongoing efforts of enhancing the quality of life for both residents and commercial businesses. During the biannual Operation Clean Sweep, bulky item collections conducted in October of last year and again in May of this year, they've removed over 3.5 tons of furniture, appliances, and trash. These collections and removal are done free of charge. The free document shredding events amounted to 17,000 pounds of paper being kept out of landfills. This means that Inglewood residents have helped save 144 trees, 59,500 gallons of water, and 1,411 gallons of oil. CDS has recognized 112 residents as winners for their Recycle Rewards program. Consolidated Disposal Service provided sponsorship for the Space Shuttle Endeavour reception. Many dignitaries, celebrities, residents, and the public at large were on hand to enjoy that. CDS has an active presence at block club parties, town hall meetings, and neighborhood watch meetings. CDS's staff is exceptional. They're always here doing whatever it takes to ensure great service. They're super friendly, responsive, and dedicated. As a matter of fact, I'm sure that Ms. Dawn Harris and Mr. Gilbert Alvarado probably have logged as much time in the city as all of us have. And we know that. And that's a tremendous amount of time. Sam Pena also gives over and above his time for our city. And the City of Inglewood appreciates all that you do. Additionally, the City and Consolidated would like to invite you to a public reception to join in the celebration of the 1-year anniversary at a lunch reception to be held Thursday, August 1st, here at City Hall in Community Room A on the first floor at 11 a.m. And so I'd like to present this plaque to Consolidated Services over here underneath the logo.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, staff, and residents of the beautiful city of Inglewood. My name is Sam Pena, and I'm with Consolidated Disposal Services, your exclusive residential and commercial hauler here in the city of Inglewood. Wanted to say thank you very much for the commendation for the one-year service. It's been a great year. We've done a lot of great work in the community, and we couldn't have done it without the work of your support. The support of the staff has been great to us. The support of the residents who actually have kept this, in tune every step of the way. So it's been a great year. We love doing events like the Endeavor. We love being part of the progression here in the city of Inglewood. And we can't wait for the new development going on with Madison Square Garden. I'm a big Eagles fan, so I hope you guys know I'm a big Eagles fan, so I look forward to many, many more concerts. We were just kind of reminiscing about this earlier in some of our first concerts, and one of my first concerts, 1984, Prince. I saw their Purple Rain tour not too long ago. I've actually attended other concerts there, and like I said, we want to thank the council and staff for having the vision to keep going and progressing with the city and actually choosing us and being a partner with us. So, again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pena. Public comment. Any persons wishing to address the council on any item on today's agenda may do so at this time.
Good evening, Mayor, staff, and fellow residents of Leroy Fisher, the First District. I come to ask you with regard to these department reports, DR1 through DR6. Many people don't have time to understand what these reports entail. So I would ask for oral reports on each of these items. Many of them are money items, and those money items all have to do with taxes that we are responsible for. So I would ask that you give the reports on each one of these items so that those of us here can understand them, but more than that, those people in this community who are not here can begin to understand them. So that are my comments to begin this meeting this evening, but I hope that you will be mindful of it and give those reports. Thank you.
Good evening, council members. I can't help but notice a couple of things. First of all, we don't have any minutes on this agenda. And second of all, isn't it interesting how when someone speaks in your favor, you encourage applause, but when someone who does not necessarily always bring you praise, you threaten to eject even before the beginning of the meeting? Wow, how dictatorial. Well, moving on to DR1, maybe this is why. Staff report recommending, and I hope we have one, a staff report that is, process approval that would authorize the mayor to execute agreements with 5 firms, qualifying them to provide on-call consultant services for plan reviews. I think we elected 5 individuals to this council, not just one. And I would hope that each one of you has an interest in all the decisions that are made rather than turning them, your individual 20%, over to one person. But I think that that is really a frightening concept, that one person is making all those decisions. I would hope that none of you come to the point where you always agree with any person, whether it's your spouse or anyone else, all of the time. Because each of you are individuals, and each one of you brings from your backgrounds, hopefully, a different perspective. And that should all be included when significant decisions that impact this community come before us. With regard to DR4, I couldn't help but notice how quickly it went from 1 million to 4 million. But the significant document frustration is that the proposed design now requires the acquisition of 55 parcels as opposed to the original 10. So I guess my question is, since we haven't seen the map, which 45 businesses or residents do you plan on acquire in a one-liner? That impacts 45 people, 45 possible businesses, 45 homes. And it's just an afterthought in the staff report. That's thoughtless and inconsiderate.
Just for the record, the DR1 only authorizes the mayor to execute the agreements. They're approved by the council. Welcome, Mr. Matthew.
Good evening,
Staff
gentlemen.
report, you'd see that. Go ahead, Mr. Matthew.
Good evening, gentlemen, mayor and city council. This is Gil Matthew, District 4. First, payment of the bills. Now, quite often I come here and I give you check numbers and voucher numbers, and then I get no response. Is that accurate? Or if in fact you're responding to it, and make sure the documentation is there for the item. Now, recently I gave you some check numbers, dates, and back when I gave you something about T-shirts for the Clippers. There's never been any T-shirts for the Clippers, but yet somebody got a check for $4,000. And after it was brought, they returned $2,000. And then it's 2,000 short. You know, 2 from 4 is 2. No response, nothing. Now, notice on the payment of bills, we have extensive Medicare reimbursements for retirees. That's a wake-up call, gentlemen. That's permanent. And the more people retire, the more expensive it's going to be. But anyway, I'll talk about that later. I have some items on the agenda. DR1. Now, let's have an old report. What criteria are you doing for selection? And if it's an RFP, how is it done? And then what qualifies them? And one of the interesting things is, in-house, years ago, we would do our own processing. But yet, you're doing on call. I don't know if you do financial analysis, how much it costs. But when it's open in with no monies, then obviously you don't know what it costs even for you to have employees that would do their own processing. The point I'm bringing to you, John, is we have to get on board and protect the city financially. And on DR4, 55 parcels added. Let's have an old report or a map or something, who's affected and why. And on the finance part, I'm glad to see you're getting some help from Mr. Esparza, because he's going to need all the help he can get. I mean, he's doing a yeoman's job. In fact, he's wearing 2 hats. And now we have coming up a financial report for the third quarter, and we only have 6 days before the whole budget. So let's pump it up a little bit and get on board and get more professional with this city.
Thank you, Mr. Matthew.
You're very welcome, sir.
Okay.
F. Austin, good afternoon. I want to speak on Public Works. Could I speak on that?
Which item?
DR4. You know, I don't know what's going on, but I know you've been raising saying about getting Century and La Brea done. And it's really, they tore up that street over a month ago, right? On La Brea. It's been torn up about a month or so. I want to know what's the delay. Is it because we don't have the equipment to finish the street? Or what? What is causing the delay on La Brea? Everyone is they losing business, losing money. You know what happened before when we did La Brea on this side. Remember, everybody was trying to file claims of loss of funds. But now you have large entities there that can't get inside all of the businesses. So what is holding up La Brea? You want to do Century, but La Brea is not done. I think La Brea should be your first thing to take care of. That's the main drag, going through the city, back and forth every day, all morning. I think La Brea should be handled before Century. Century is not as bad as La Brea was. So, Mayor, what is holding it up, the project up on Century? What's holding up the streets? You know, it should be repaired. It can't be the money, because it's a grant, right? From the government grant, right? So what is holding it up? They don't know the job? Should do like Mayor Dawn did, call a big company in to finish the street if that's the problem. It must be a problem. Someone don't know what they're doing. Also, I want to mention Public Works. They're not looking too good. You have a serious problem with Public Works. If you got La Brea tore up for 8 weeks, 6 weeks, you got a problem. You need to call in somebody to fix that street. People losing money.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and staff. Winall Davis, 2nd District. I want to touch on DR4. And as an Inglewood resident, I have to voice my dissatisfaction with the way Econ Technical Services is handling its business and treating us. They just cavalierly declared that they were off by what, 300%, when they apparently acted in good faith to win this contract. They were off by 300%, from just over $1 million to just over $4 million. Is now they want to increase it by $3 million. I hope you read Somebody the Riot Act. I really do. In the real world, when I was working in aerospace and design, if you came back after winning a contract and says, we're going to increase it 300%, the government would snatch that contract from you. I worked on a couple of them. I worked on Sergeant York. You guys don't even know about that probably. It was an anti-aircraft system, General Dynamics. They had it snatched from them because guess what? They went 400% over budget. No, you're fired. I hope in the future that we will stress that we're to be respected as a city, not just be cavalierly told that, oops, we goofed. Just pay us more, and we'll make it all better. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
My name is Melba Hamsley, and I have an agenda item. I want, and I hope this is the right time. I've never been to a meeting. But on the agenda, it's item H3 under housing for refinance. And first, I want to thank Ms. Scott, I guess an assistant to Mr. Dodson, for getting us on the agenda. I understand that it's going to be signed for approval, but on page 2 of the document, at the bottom, and I was told it was going to change, but it says that there will be no mortgage insurance required on the new loan. And actually, that's a misstatement because there will still be mortgage insurance because the amount I still owe on the property. So they need to change that when you sign it. The other thing that I wanted to ask is there's a second deed of trust on my property. There's $210,000 that was put in by the city of Inglewood, and all of the other units in my housing complex range from $35,000 to $55,000 on the second. And at this time, when we do the refi, if you can change mine to what is and amend it to what everyone else's is in the area, I'd appreciate it. Because I don't know why mine is more than everyone else's. Or if you can explain that to me, why mine is more than everyone else's. Because right now it doesn't make sense. Will somebody answer it?
No, not right now.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
Angie Pacheco can meet with her after.
Ms. Pacheco should meet with you in private.
Oh, who?
Yeah, she's Angie Pacheco. Yeah, she's in the back there.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Okay, all right, thank you.
She could answer those questions for you. Right. Ms. Pacheco, could you take her into the lobby? Mr. Agee.
My name is Willie A.G., and I live in the beautiful city of Inglewood. I don't have too much to say tonight, but I can say this. Today is a great historical day in the city of Inglewood. I'd like to add, the elected people represent 115,000 people in this city. Not
Excuse
just
me, Mr. Mathel, please don't talk out again. Mr. Agee, you're going to have to confine this part of the discussion to an agenda item. We definitely want to hear what you have to say.
Well, I'll take care of it later on. Now.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Agee.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and staff. I was just puzzled by one thing on the agenda, DR1, and it says that you're going to authorize city manager to approve agreements for on-call consultant services subject to approval of the scope of the work by the city staff. And as I read into that, on page 2 or 3 for that particular item, it says the city council has delegated to the city manager the authority to execute short-form agreements to engage consultants and provide other services for city operation for the amount of $20,000. The purpose of this request is for the mayor and city council to authorize a process for approval by the city manager that is not currently spelled out in the city charter, but is within the authority of the mayor and the city council to delegate the city manager. That stood out to me because I thought that the citizens were supposed to be engaged in any changes that you do to the Inglewood City Charter. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that needs to be spelled out to me, and I think to the citizens too, if you're going to whisk around the charter and engage the city manager to do these contracts. I hope you answered that question for me at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lyon.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council, staff. I am Ted Brass, and I live in beautiful downtown Inglewood. I work in beautiful downtown Inglewood, and I'm a proud resident of the 2nd Councilman District, Mr. Padilla. I am standing on DR1, that particular issue, economic and community redevelopment. Firstly, I'd like to applaud you, council, staff, for actually bringing forth this item. Inglewood is becoming more of a business-friendly community. I see businesses coming, and I see activities certainly coming as well. From personal experience, I know the need for additional plan checkers and inspections for staff to be done. So in bringing in those groups, we used to have some additional staff that we would call in from time to time, but I understand now because of budgets and different items, we just don't have that. So if we've got a major project like Hollywood tomorrow, and see what's happening right there with the forum, the project there, and many others. I'm a commercial broker right here in the city, so I know the need for allowing and assisting us in bringing in staff, professionals, to help in expediting that. So I want to applaud you for putting that on the agenda. I strongly support it, and anything that's good for business is good for the city of Inglewood, and I want it to continue to see us grow and be a business-friendly city that will invite new construction and make that process as smooth and certainly cut the time frame in terms of making that happen. So I know a number of cities are cutting fees for that, for businesses that are coming into the city. So certainly doing something to expedite that process for plan review and inspections for redevelopment is going to assist us greatly. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll close public comment. Item 1, CSA 1 and H1.
Warrant register allow for payment of the bills.
Move allow payment. Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye. Madam Clerk, what's the next scheduled matter?
The next scheduled matter is a public hearing to consider an adoption of a resolution making fines and overruling protests and objections and ordering delinquent sewers and refuge charges to be placed on the tax roll for the fiscal year 2013-14.
Has notice of the hearing been given in the time, form, and manner as required by law, and do you have the affidavit on file?
Notice has been given and affidavit is on file.
Have any communications been received on the matter?
Communications have been received and they have been passed out to mayor and council.
Is there a staff report on the matter, Mr. City Manager?
Yes, Mr. Harjinder Singh, Finance Supervisor, will give a staff report.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. I am here, actually, firstly, good evening, Mayor and Council members. I am here to present a public hearing to place outstanding delinquent refuse and sewer charges on the property tax bill for collection. The majority of Inglewood residents and businesses receive water, refuse, and sewer services from the city. Approximately 1/4 of the city receives refuse and sewer services only, and water is provided by an outside agency. For this section of the city, there is no mechanism to enforce collection of refuse and sewer fees. The County of Los Angeles mandates that refuse and sewer be provided to all residents and businesses for health and safety reasons. Since the collection of refuse and providing of sewer services is mandatory, the County of Los Angeles allows the city to hold the property owner liable and place these fees directly on the property tax bill after they have been properly noticed and a public hearing has taken place. As of May 31st, 2013, there were 374 delinquent refuse and sewer accounts with charges in excess of $250 and overdue periods of more than 90 days. The total outstanding amount of these accounts represents $168,105 of uncollected revenue. Each year, the city reviews delinquent refuse and sewer accounts and submits them to the County of Los Angeles for placement on the property tax rolls for collection. Full collection of these outstanding charges prevents utility customers who are in good standing from having to subsidize the service delivery costs of others. The proposed 2013 year lien list contains residential single-family, multi-unit apartment buildings, and commercial properties. The Customer Service Division of the Finance Department has provided copies of tenants' delinquent utility bill notices to the affected property owners. As in past years, the Finance Department will work directly with property owners to resolve issues concerning their delinquent accounts through the hearing date, and will work with customers to resolve their delinquent balances after the lien has been submitted to the County of Los Angeles as well. Thank you.
Are there any members of the public that are present wish to address the council on the matter? Please come forward, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council member, and to you elected officials. Roger Washington, 3609 West 108th Street. The property that is in question is rental property. I spoke with the tenant this afternoon. They are not in delinquent with any refuse bill. They have receipts saying that they are current with these bills. If the property was a property as a retail of some sort, I could understand these charges being carried on, but I think all utilities in single-family rental units is in the tenant's name, and I would suggest that we would try to send this. I understand the city should want to get what is due to the city. I want my rent every month, but at the same time, I cannot absorb utilities that is in someone else's name because I'm the owner of the property. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Council members, we go through this every single year, and one thing that came up many moons ago and was supposed to continue was that when those fees were written to the tenant, if in fact it was not the property owner, there was supposed to be a duplicate sent to the property owner. In years past, we had a lot of folks come up and say, if in fact you know they're delinquent, how am I supposed to know they're delinquent when it's not in my name? That was supposed to have been fixed because this gentleman has to make the assumption that his tenants are paying something if you continue to provide the service, whether it's the water, the sewer, or whatever else. And I thought we solved that some years ago. I guess it slipped through the cracks again, because I remember that discussion went on and on and on and on. And I think we were here a couple hours on that once before. So I don't know how it's back here again.
How do you do again, council and staff? As a landlord myself, I guess I'm fortunate. My rental unit is in a homeowners association, so it's included in the assessments that are paid on the unit every month, which are in my name. So I just include that in the rent. I'll suggest that about the only way we can really guarantee that the people who should pay the bill, if it's a renter, is maybe you should have a deposit for utilities only. Some sort of, if that's allowed by law. That I don't know. Perhaps you can enlighten us. But yes, we should definitely get the money that's owed us, but we shouldn't have a landlord who doesn't even know what's happening to him or her end up with a lien on their property years down the road. Thank you for your time.
Gil Matthew, District 4. As a property owner also, I would suggest this, that any bill that's in a tenant's name other than the property owner should be collected against that tenant. Now, if in fact, as a homeowner, if I don't pay the bill, the utility is cut off. So if any kind of way you could put in the agreement where you'd exclude the property owner and lien against the tenant through collection agencies or small claims court, or either with a notice of intention to cut off the utility. But again, on legal standings, I don't know if you can collect another person's bill that's not in his name.
Please, folks.
So that would be a question to check, with the city attorney to see what standing you have in collecting the bill that's not in the person's name. But anyway, I still suggest if any kind of way you could exclude the property owner, if in fact it's not in his name, he has no responsibility for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Matthew. Unless there's someone else that'd like to speak.
Roy Fisher, the First District. I guess I would concur as some of the other people that when you have tenants that might not pay these things, and then you put these properties in a lien, causing the owners a problem. And especially, you have tenants that change over, and it just becomes a headache. I heard staff suggest too that they're willing to work with people. $100,000 or $200,000 that you might have a problem with. It seems to me that you could resolve it by working with, as has been said, the people that maybe are having a problem paying their bills, and especially when it comes to this economy the way it is with seniors. And I go back finally to say what I said, that to have people who own buildings have their property jeopardized by some tenant who happens to be a deadbeat is just kind of wrong. And for you to put their properties in jeopardy like that, I think that's wrong too. Thank you.
Ethel Austin, I want to ride on this. I want to ask the council, why is it you ready to turn in the owners to collect your fines? Why? Why do they have to suffer for the sins that you all do? It's not their fault. Just like code enforcers set in 2008 with fines. Why are you not trying to collect all those fines? That's $500,000 worth of fines was mailed out. But now those fines belong to the people. You wrote them up at these people's houses. But now you want to charge someone else, put it on a lien on their property. That's not right. Just like if something happened here, the mayor takes the rap and the city manager takes the rap, not the people. We as taxpayers are already taking enough beating. Now you want to charge these homeowners, and I don't think it's right. Which I already know you done voted to do it, so why don't you collect all of them millions of dollars from the code enforcers with all those fines that your supervisor hid from 2008, sabotaging? Why? Think about all that.
Close public comment. I'm also going to receive and file the communications. Is there a motion?
I move 1, 2, and 3. I second the comment.
Councilman Franklin.
Yes, we received on the dais a couple of letters. One from the gentleman that spoke earlier, Mr. Roger Washington, and then also with reference to another property that the former owner says we're not the owner at the time of this delinquency occurred.
Yes.
So on this one where the delinquency has occurred and then along the owners, we've been successful to identify who are the new owners in the sale of the property so we can then notify them of the delinquency?
Yes, if there is a new owner and it's recently happened, then they wouldn't be liable because they didn't get a chance to get duplicate bills like some of the prior owners have. We have reached out to the letters that have been submitted to the city clerk's office, and on top of that, we've worked with 53 individual owners that have reached out to the city and come to an agreement to resolve this matter.
Okay, and then with reference to this recent comment by one of the landlords, I just want to comment specifically about when you become a property owner, particularly for rental income property, there is a contract reached between the prospective tenant and the landlord. It has boundaries as to what are the conditions and terms to be able to reside there, including their accountability as a tenant to be responsible for refuge. So it is agreement reached between the landlord and the tenant, and when the tenant defaults, it is the property that is recorded by the County of Los Angeles that we as a city are responsible for that then gets the notification of default, that the tenant has defaulted through your contract. And so obviously we are going to reach out to that landlord for accountability. So I understand what some of you are saying here, but we as a city are not in agreement with the tenant. We didn't select that tenant. We didn't come in agreement with that tenant. We have no contract with the tenant. We have property accountable with the landlord that is responsible to maintain that the refuge services, which by law we have to provide, that they're also accountable to make sure that their tenant pays their fair share. And so it would be no different than you as a homeowner become delinquent. You still would have to, we still would get the service, but when you go delinquent, then we in turn have to take legal action, in this case, putting a lien on your property. On that note, thank you, Mayor.
It's my recollection that this did come up before, and the solution was that there'd be a duplicate bill sent out to the property owner.
There absolutely is a duplicate bill that's been sent to every one of the property owners, and we have looked into our computer systems to verify that as well too. And we've worked with the 52 owners that have come forward that we've worked with so far. We went forward just to confirm that our computer systems were working and asked them, did the duplicate bill go out? Is there anything else we could do to work with you? So far, the people that we've worked with, every indication is that duplicate bills have gone out. If there are a couple groups of people that state that they did not reach it, by all means, we'll work with them directly, and we can look and see if there's any other issues with LA County records where we pulled the owner information from to see if there's any issues there.
Okay, thank you. Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dodson? Padilla?
Aye.
Morales?
Aye.
Franklin?
Aye.
Mayor Butts?
Aye. I'm going to warn for the last time, the next time someone talks out, then there's going to be an ejection. The next time. Consent calendar, items 2, 3, and 4.
Move for approval.
Second. Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dodson?
Aye.
Padilla?
Aye.
Morales?
Aye.
Franklin?
Aye.
Mayor Butts?
Aye. DR1.
Staff report recommending process approval that would authorize the mayor to execute agreements with 5 firms: Atkins Global, Bureau Veritas, Harris and Associates, Interwest Consulting Group, and CSG Consulting, Inc., qualifying them to provide on-call consultant services for plan review and inspection for the development of Hollywood Tomorrow for a 3-year term at rates that will be locked in for the term of the agreement.
Move 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
Ms. Tatum?
Good afternoon, Mayor Butts, members of the council. This item is a request by staff for the council to approve a process that would expedite the review and the processing of the Hollywood Park Tomorrow project through the use of on-call consultants that will be paid for by the developer of the project. Since the entitlement of the Hollywood Park project in 2009, the developer has continued its due diligence, and they've to complete all of the necessary planning, financing, and pre-development activities that are necessary to develop the project in compliance with the city's approvals that occurred in 2009. As you know, the project includes the demolition of the racetrack, the renovation of the casino, and the development of over 600,000 square feet of retail and entertainment uses. It also includes 25 acres of parkland, up to 2,995 residents, a 75,000 square feet of office, and a 4-acre civic site. In addition, there's the option to provide a full service or a boutique hotel on the property. Recognizing the scale of development of this project and also the need for a work effort that goes very smoothly and expeditiously, the city staff recognized the limited capacity of city staff, and the developer agreed that they would provide full cost recovery to bring in consultants to support the staff effort to make sure that the project proceeds smoothly. So with this effort in mind, the city worked with the developer to come up with an efficient process to get the project developed over the 10-year life of the project. Briefly, what staff is asking the mayor and council to approve tonight are 3 things. The first is approval of the process that includes the city council and the mayor entering into those, what we call the bi-party agreements between those 5 consulting firms to provide those on-call services for plan review, inspection, engineering services, and all the associated engineering and pre-development work related to the infrastructure improvement and project development. The second thing that we're asking the mayor and council to approve is the form of the tri-party agreement, and that's the agreement that would be entered into between the city, paid for by the developer and the consultant. So it's a tri-party agreement. We're asking you to approve the form of that agreement, which is attached to the staff report. And thirdly, we're asking that the mayor and council authorize the city manager to approve those tri-party agreements, subject to the approval of the scope of work that would be necessary to provide the specific consulting services. If the mayor and council approves the above requested actions, the city, in the form of the bi-party agreement, city staff would bring back to the mayor and city council those 5 actual bi-party agreements between the 5 consulting firms, and we'd provide detail about the process of how those firms were selected and the RFP process as a part of that. That concludes staff's comments, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have regarding this request.
Just very quickly, this is a process meant to expedite a voluminous number of plan reviews and inspections that will be required for the Hollywood Park Tomorrow project. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And this also includes a reimbursement component so that these consultants that are hired by the city, their costs will be reimbursed by Hollywood Park Tomorrow.
Completely paid by Hollywood Park.
And this doesn't give the mayor the authority to make the agreements. It only gives the mayor the authority to execute the council's will to do this expedited process. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Just quickly,
Councilman Morales.
And, you know, it doesn't always have to be the mayor clarifying the fact that he's not taking over the city in dictatorship.
I'm
It's
not?
unfortunate that sometimes it's kind of shown to be that way. It's just kind of the way it's written. But this is how we do pretty much everything. Usually we take action, even in closed session, we'll take action, and he'll sign it sometimes if it needs to be done quickly right there in front of us. But that's just the steps that gets taken, because we vote all at once, and then somebody's got to do the paperwork. He does it, so thank you. That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
Mayor Bucks.
Aye. DR2.
Staff report recommending approval of amendment to agreement number 1068 with Pearl Media LLC to extend the display of super graphic wall sign, outdoor advertising, and the motion per the city attorney is to authorize the mayor to finalize and execute a contract amendment with Pearl Media.
Again?
Oh, no.
Second.
Move approval.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
Mayor Bucks.
Aye. DR3.
Staff report recommending approval of agreement with Rosa Lowinger and Associates for public art collection assessment, maintenance, and conservation services on an as-needed basis.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
Mayor Bucks.
Aye. DR4.
Staff report recommending approval of amendment number 2 to agreement number 1064 with the AE Comtech Services, Inc. to modify the scope of services incorporating the design of recommended alignment and increase of total compensation by $1,139,036 to $4,041,494.
Well, I'll move items 1, 2, and 3, but comment.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Go ahead.
Was there a second?
and I was going to ask for.
Well, I thought you were going to finish reading the.
I was.
Oh,
It stopped at the rest
Yeah.
is in
you
parentheses.
start before me.
I can. State transportation, grant reimbursement funds, Proposition C, federal and state transportation funds.
All right.
And my comment was just the idea that these are change orders, and specifically that we've had some changes during the initial scope of the project that resulted in the city deeming that we need to expand the project, and as a consequence, these change orders have gone into effect, which prompts this additional increase.
And that's, Mr., Atwell, if you could just go over the etymology of why this increased. Was it at the company's behest, or was it part of a public input process?
Right. Well, earlier there was a comment that there was an increase of 300%. It's actually an increase of about 25% because we're going from essentially 3 million to 4 million. Okay? And what had happened, this project has been around since 2010, and it has metamorphosized in such a way, or morphed in such a way, that originally it was projected to be 4 lanes from one side of the city to the other side of the city. Then through the engineering and planning process, they massaged it to become 4 lanes and 6 lanes. And now we're at the point where it's almost 6 lanes the entire stretch, except for, and I'll probably get this wrong, but let me look it up, except for a section, I believe it's between Inglewood and Prairie, it's 4 lanes. And we've gone through the public process, public input, and we've gone from the 4 lanes that were proposed from Crenshaw to Van Ness to now 6 lanes. And with a short segment between 5th and Crenshaw is 5 lanes. So what we've done is we've tried, through public input, we've actually gotten the project to where I think we should settle on an improved alignment.
Okay, so let's recap. First of all, the increase is 1.139 million from 3 million. It's not an increase from 1.139 to 4 million. It's
Right.
a 25% increase.
Correct.
And that increase is driven in large part due to public process because people wanted more lanes.
That is correct.
All right, thank you. Madam
I
City
just
Clerk.
need a second. I didn't hear that.
I
had
believe I moved it, right?
I moved it.
No, Franklin moved it.
So I second.
Well,
You're
no,
second.
no, George beat you to it. He seconded.
George
Okay,
wants this
so
one.
George got this.
George is the
Yes.
second. Okay,
Madam City Clerk.
sure. Council members Dodson. Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye.
Thank you.
DR5, thank you, Mr. Atwell.
Staff report recommending adoption of a resolution amending the fiscal year 2012-13 budget for P176 to include salaries in the amount of $11,600, benefit in the amount of $4,063, contract services in the amount of $25,544, 10% contingency with the amount of $10,554, and special expenses in the amount of $30,000 for the total project amount cost of $81,771.
Move adoption.
Second. Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dodson. Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye. DR6.
Staff report recommending adoption of a resolution amending the fiscal year 2012-13 budget for P183 in salary, to include salaries in the amount of $67,731, benefit in the amount of $23,706, contract services in the amount of $535,587, 10% contingency in the amount of $61,574, and special expenses in the amount of $30,000 for the total project amount cost of $718,597.
Move adoption.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dodson. Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye. Mr. Esparza, would you ask Mr. Atwell to come back for one moment?
Yes, I will.
I meant to ask you this question when you were here before, so please forgive me. Is the La Brea project behind schedule? in
No,
your
it's
opinion?
not. In fact, I was talking to the lady that had brought it up. This project, typically a project like that takes about 8 months. This project, we put 2 shifts on, so we're running 17-hour shifts because we had some money that was in jeopardy, and we saved that money. We saved over $1 million worth of money that was going to expire in June. And so we put 2 shifts on it. We're running, I believe, 6 days a week.
Wow.
And we're going to finish this project in early October, or early to mid-October from May, which is a lot faster than projects of this caliber.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
CM1, oh, excuse me, hold on. Hold
We
on.
have,
We want to convene the City of Inglewood as a successor agency. Madam City Clerk, would you call the roll?
sure, a quorum is present.
CSA 2,
Monthly Treasurer's Report for the month ending April 30th, 2013.
receive and file, adjourn the successor agency, convene the Inglewood Housing Authority.
A quorum is present.
H2,
Staff report recommending approval to refinance the first trustee of Federico and Letitia Rango with
wait a minute.
with Rango with J.P. Morgan Chase Bank.
Move 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Agency members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Chairman Butts.
Aye. H3,
Staff report recommending approval to refinance the first trustee for Melba Hansley with West Lending, Inc.
Before a motion is called, Mayor, may I make a comment?
yes.
I want to reach out to staff. You heard Ms. Melba Hansley make comments about clarification or modification. Has staff had a chance to talk to her with reference to the language that is brought before us this evening?
Yes, I did, and I would request permission to be able to resolve those with her before signature of the approval.
So if we adopt it tonight, you can then make the necessary changes
Correct.
that is necessary.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I so move items 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Agency members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Chairman Butts.
Aye. H4,
Monthly Treasurer's Report for the month ending April 30th, 2013.
receive and file, adjourn the Inglewood Housing Authority, convene the Inglewood Public Financing Authority.
A quorum is present.
F1,
Monthly Treasurer's Report for the month ending April 30th, 2013.
receive and file, adjourn the Public Financing Authority back on the record to the Inglewood City Council.
A quorum is present.
CM1,
No city manager reports, Mayor.
hold on a second. A1,
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. There was a closed session held as to CS1, closed session confidential, attorney-client privilege, potential litigation under Government Code Section 54956.9B1, claim of Veritex. Request a motion to approve payment of billing.
Move allow payment.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye.
There was a closed session held as to CS, closed session confidential, attorney-client privilege, potential litigation under Government Code Section 54956.9B1, claim of Macro Pro. Request motion to approve payment of billing.
So moved. Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye.
There was a closed session held as to CS3, closed session confidential, attorney-client privilege, litigation under Government Code Section 54956.9B1, claim of Carabilt Development, Inc. regarding RSI 8.6. Request motion to approve payment of billing.
So moved.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye.
There was a closed session held as to CS4, closed session confidential, attorney-client privilege, potential litigation under Government Code Section 54956.9B1, claim of Carabilt Development, Inc. regarding RSI 8.13J.
So moved. Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye.
There's a closed session held as to CS5, closed session confidential, attorney-client privilege, potential litigation, the Government Code Section 54956.9B1, issues regarding issuance of citations during holidays. Sessions were held, however, no final action was taken. And that concludes reports out of a closed session for this evening, and there are no verbal reports, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. CC1. Madam City Clerk.
Can I just need to ask the city attorney one thing on CS4. Could you give me what we're doing on that?
I request a motion to approve payment of billing in that matter.
Okay, thank you very much.
Could you vote on that again, just for clarity?
So moved.
Second.
Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin. Mayor Butts.
Aye.
Thank you.
CC1?
No comments tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
CT1?
Monthly Treasurer's Report for the month ending April 30th, 2013.
Receive and file. CT2, Madam City Treasurer.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to give just a brief report for the month of April and for the funds under management for the City of Inglewood, $104,912,615, and the interest earnings for debt service was $26, and the total interest earnings is $80,727. For the successor agency, funds under management, $107,661,965. And the interest earning is allocated for debt service is $11,609, and the interest earnings is $6,801. Housing Authority, $100,377, and the interest earnings $70. Public Finance Authority, $13,496,673, and $1,719 that's earning for debt service, interest earning for debt service. Total funds under management is $226,171,630. And last Friday, I did buy a federal home loan bond. It's a 5-year non-call for 1 year, so it has 1 year of call protection. And the coupon on that particular bond is 1.75. So it was an excellent buy, considering something like, according to the New York Times today, some $43 billion flowed out of the bond market. I think that some of the investors are getting a little weary as to how interest rates might be going, particularly within the next year or so. But again, the total bond market has over $812 billion, so that's a small amount considering the total amount of funds in the bond market. Also, the total investment in bonds to date is $39,522,763. And with regards to the bills that was paid for June, $14.5 million, and the net payroll was $2.5 million. The gross payroll for the month of June was $3.4 million, and the gross payroll for July is $3.4 million. And the bills paid for July is $10,995,923, and the total for the month of July is $13.5 million. And would like to point out that the number of bank failures thus far for 2013 has been 16. One bank did fail in Nevada and Tennessee with assets of $457 million, and the cost to the FDIC is $42.9 million. And the total assets of all the failed banks, which is 484, is $696 billion. And the loss to the FDIC is $95.8 billion. And just to give you an idea as to what Fannie and Freddie is doing, Fannie Mae has roughly, the TARP outstanding is $80 billion. And her little brother, Freddie, $41.8 billion. General Motors, $19 billion. Chrysler's, $1.3 billion. GMAC, or Alley Financial, $10.5 billion. And Citigroup, $2.28 billion of TARP money outstanding. And also, I would like to point out that the interest rates continue to be quite low for all of the agencies. They're as low as 0.25 all the way down to the 5-year, which is roughly about 1.85. And as I mentioned, I bought the 1.75 of the Federal Home Loan Bond last Friday. So even though the city is closed on Friday, I still get calls from brokers. So your treasurer is still working very hard. Just want to let you know that. And also, I would like to point out that the the services for Marquise Parish will be next Wednesday, August the 7th, and it's going to be held at Zion Hill Baptist Church, and that church is located at 7860 10th Avenue, and that is really one block, I think, east of Crenshaw, so it's really one block from where the young man was actually killed. And that'll be August the 7th at Wednesday. So the family said that's when the services are tentatively scheduled. And I will be attending a National Treasure Conference in Houston, and we'll be leaving on Monday, but I am going to be presenting a plaque to the family before I leave. That concludes my remarks and my report.
Thank you. Did you have a time for that service?
10 a.m.
10 a.m., thank you.
And I'll be emailing that to all of the council people, yes.
Thank you. Public comment. Any persons wishing to address the city council on any matter of city business not elsewhere covered may do so at this time.
Again, good evening, Leroy Fisher, the First District. I handed a handout with regard to the Inglewood Wiseman's Club, and it kind of tells you who we are and why we are. The reason I did that, for several reasons, but last week when I was here and Mrs. Mann was terminated, I had asked her if we, as a club, could meet at the ICOP Center. She said that I would have to find out from whoever was going to take her place. So I was said that, we've been here since 1944 in service to Inglewood. We've had our charter since that time. And you've heard me, many of you, talk about the YMCA and the Wiseman service that we do and that we give. But when I asked our council person, he didn't seem to know about it, so that was why I bought that. And I hope you then will take a look at it. I'm going to go back to ask some of the new members of the council to, and to you all, to consider maybe thinking about interacting with LA Metro YMCA again. You have many properties. You still have the property on Prairie and 101st, 102nd that was promised those many years ago for a YMCA to the LA Metro YMCA. I say to you all that the youth programs that the YMCA has are wonderful programs to help youth and to communities to grow. Not only the youth, if that would have happened all those many years ago, it would have given access to the seniors even in this community to have some place to go, to be, and to interact the way many seniors did in the YMCA through these many years. So again, I would hope that you then would begin to think about the YMCA again, reaching out to the community with your help to have a program here. We don't have anything here for the youth like that that would help them grow and be better people to make this city be a better place for all people to be. So that's my comments for you now, and I hope you consider it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, and congratulations to our new District 1, District 2 council members, staff, citizens of Inglewood. My name is Wayne Spencer, the owner of Spencer for Hire Security, the premier private security company here in Inglewood. But I'm here today with great news. It's Independence time, Jamaican Independence time. This week, Sunday, at Holy Faith Episcopalian Church, we will have our celebration. I'm extending an invitation to the council and the citizens of Inglewood in general to please be there. Inglewood today, everybody please come. It's going to be a church service. After the church service, there's going to be celebrations. There's going to be steel drum playing. There's going to be folkloric songs. There'll be our Jamaican-style spoken word using the patois, you know, and it just be a great event. And we've had this done here for over a decade each year at Holy Faith. And Holy Faith is at 260 North Locust, which is right on the corner of Locust and Florence Avenue. So please accept the invitation. Come out. It's one of those wonderful things that cities, Port Antonio and Jamaica and Inglewood have been sister cities for over 20 plus years. So continue the celebration. Thank you all and success for everybody.
Thank you.
My name is Alfonso Parker Jr. I'm a Vietnam veteran, conscious objector, 6667. I spoke to you a number of times. This is the way classified or confidential documents are handled. They're sealed properly according to United States Air Force Department of Classified Material Procedures. Whether it's a truck or a piece of paper or toilet paper, if it's classified, it's a proper way to handle it. This was sent to Councilman Stephen Bradford. He returned it because he referred me to higher ups, and he done it proper procedure. I made a statement last time about that it's treason what's been done to the American soldiers. It always has been, it still is. President Obama was called before the International Criminal Court somewhere around 99. Not Obama, Bush. And he refused to go pull us out our financing. Obama went before him, before the International Criminal Court by Skype. You know what that is. Hillary was there before physically, and they appeared for Obama. Obama came out of there and sequestered the decision of us being the third terrorist nation in the world, international world. He sequestered the results because we're guilty. What they've done to us, to the United States Navy and intelligence and the Marines, they're trashing your records, not only your military, your life. The reason why you can't get off of 12% as a black culture, and there's a lot of collateral damage, it's not just us. You can't get off of 12% is because the system is set up economically, health-wise, and everything else. And they trash through a university, a liberal arts university called Lawrence University. Started out as 131, now it's up to 3,100 different universities. And like they profile us to deny us our service-connected benefits, all you got to do is do the numbers, follow the bouncing ball of the numbers. The way you can tell who your politicians and your judges are that are manipulating the court system to deny you, even in civilian life, your rights, how the Nazis got it. These are recent issues. Limiting your court ability to sue. High court limits workers' suits. They're just stonewalling, delay until you all drop dead. Not only those veterans, but your kids, your next generation. This is what they do. You can't do it. Treason. You can't do it. I can't do it. No entity in the borders of the United States, or actually outside it internationally, can do it. National security is after Snowden. Snowden hasn't done a thing. He is nothing but a whistleblower. Don't you think? Look at it. They'd have been had him. The rest of the world international won't touch him because they can't. National security has no status. It's nothing but a fireside advisory chat organization at the whim of the president. They can't write a warrant or issue a warrant on a piece of toilet paper. Paper is worth more than that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Council, my name is Joseph Texera, District 1. I'm asking this council to remove James Butts as council chairperson because as chairperson, he repeatedly violates the rules of these meetings and lies to the public for his own benefit. Next week, I'll talk about how the chair, who has a notorious history of violating the rules of these meetings, not only as chair but as a member of the public, how he ejected me from the meeting last week in clear violation of the rules of these meetings. But this week, I'll describe how Butts uses his position as chair to lie to and mislead the public. The law says that the city must respond to a public records request in no more than 10 days. That's the law. At these meetings, I've given this council copies of this public records request that I submitted to the city clerk's office at least 5 times in 3 months. proving that the city clerk and the city attorney deliberately violate the law, but the chair never said a word about it in the meetings. But a few meetings back, I described how Willie Brown, Inglewood Today's publisher and James Butt's paid political consultant, lies to and manipulates his readers. But James Butts wasted no time jumping to the defense of Willie Brown, a documented liar, by interrupting the speaker after me and telling his own lies. Break the law? Butts doesn't say anything. Expose his buddy Willie Brown as a liar and a fraud, and Butts cannot keep quiet. The lie Butts told was this. A few meetings back, Butts told the public that he heard me or saw me give my employer's name and phone number to the owner of the burger stand, which was the site of the libelous story that Willie Brown wrote about me. Butts said that I asked the owner to call my employer and lie. Now, I believe it's in the mayor's best interest to admit to everyone tonight that he might not have actually heard me say what he told everyone I said, because I was there and I know that's a lie. But more importantly, both the owners of the burger stand that were there have assured me that if the mayor goes down to the burger stand, the owners will be very happy to explain to the mayor that what he told the public was not true. They know and I know, and frankly, I think the mayor knows that I never gave anyone any number or told them to call anybody for me, and several witnesses will say that that's a lie. When I say the mayor lied, or is a hypocrite, or has violated the law, or has personally been sued for helping violate people's civil rights, I cite city documents, court documents, DVDs of council meetings, tape recordings, citations of law journals that prove that the mayor did what I said he did. But every single word that I've said about the mayor has been thoroughly researched and is 100% true. But the mayor just lies. He misleads the public to hide his and his allies' misconduct. And this council should not allow him to continue to embarrass this city as council chair. And Mayor, if you'll give me a couple of minutes, I'll explain what exactly happened that day.
No, I'm not going to give you a couple minutes.
Okay, make sure everybody goes to Google and see liar for hire Willie Brown, and you'll see
Okay.
just how much of a
Thank
liar
you.
he is.
Okay, and to be explicit, I stood probably a foot and a half behind Mr. Texera that day, and I listened to exactly what he had to say because I was waiting to order my food, and he may have intimidated the owner, I don't know, but let me tell you explicitly, he gave his number, he gave his boss's name, and he begged the man to call him and say he didn't do what he did, and the owner said, I can't do that because it's on tape that you did it. So that's exactly what happened. Please go ahead, Mr. Davis.
Thank you. I'm going to ring positive. First, I want to say we all remember Daffy Duck was one of his more famous lines, oops, foul trouble. It wasn't clear to me at first, and I'll admit being wrong. It was by 1 million approximately, not from 1 million approximately. Okay, I'm not thrilled at 25%, but 300% you must admit I had a right to be outraged. Okay, that having been said, fill us in on what happened today when you had your time, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, here it is. We're on the front page of the LA Times for a good reason. Finally. I'm happy to see that progress is, with the form is proceeding on schedule, and they've landed a big fish, the Eagles. A 20,000-seat stadium. If they don't pull in $1 million in ticket sales alone a night, I would ask, why are they selling the tickets so cheaply? And I hope it's like a 3 or 4 night stand. And the only thing I'll say is that in about 3 years, I'm going to get to say, I told you so. They're going to pay that place off like that. We didn't sell it for high enough. We should ask more. But hey, water under the bridge. I'm not mad at Madison Square Garden for being good business people. But, Mayor, I may even go over my 3 minutes this time. I'm going to start lobbying for 2 things right now. This is what I do for a living. valet for a company called Man Parking Company. I want the company I worked for 14 years to have that contract over there for parking. You're going to need us. My company has lots of experience. We have handled the Toyota Open up there at the Riviera Country Club for years. Have almost 50 accounts in the western region of the United States. I'm employee 161. They're at like 5,000 now. I was one of the last people that got interviewed by the actual owner of the company. It's too big now. We have a fleet of shuttle buses. You're going to need those when you start shuttling people from those satellite lots. Now I'm going to ask you for something I've never asked for, an extra minute, and here's why.
Mr. Davis, you can have it.
Thank you. I want to lobby for a man named Stevie Wonder. He must open that farm. I know it's the Eagles, but gentlemen, we all know, we've lived in the city, every December, who would have his World of Toys concert? Here. This is Stevie Wonder did. If you go outside there and throw a rock, you can hit the roof of KGLH. And he was here when there wasn't much kindness, not a whole lot of joy. Where was the love? So where was the happiness? He stayed. Gentlemen, we owe him. This community owes him. When I say let him have his World of Toys show in December, it'll be a great trial run. Because we can't misstep when the Eagles hit the stage. We can't have any glitches. We got to tighten up what we need to tighten up before January. And with that, I thank you graciously for the extra minute you gave me.
You never
Have a good
asked.
evening, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Diane Sombrano, and I got to tell you, it's interesting that you really don't like the concept of those of us using the word dictatorial or Hitleresque. And yet this meeting was begun with an attitude of shut up or I'll throw you out. Golly gee whiz wow. Does that sound like it's really open, honest, transparent, and truly wanting community input? I don't think so. You see, that's kind of like give me what I want now or go to hell. That's what it sounds like. So if you don't like our attitude, maybe you should change yours. You're the one who started it. You can change that. You can be gracious, but I don't think you will. It's not within your nature. I'm going to go ahead and say, wow, I heard someone say we had so many wonderful and glorious businesses coming to town. I remember the grand opening celebration, the 99-cent store, and the dollar store, and a couple more nail salons. Okay, you got the front page. But you know what? I remember a time that we had the Lakers here and we were making all that money, supposedly. Well, we weren't really, because the way the contract was written, for their 69 cents a ticket that we got, we turned around and gave every one of those dollars to another person for a contract. You might remember his name. Then it was called Adds Up. It worked out exactly even. $10,000 a month for the city, $4,000 a month for the redevelopment agency. Somehow, I don't know, it's sad to me that whatever money we get in from an entity, we tend to give it to one or two people rather than to the residents of this community. And that doesn't seem to serve the residents of this community. It serves one or two of the friends and family of those who are sitting in power. And that's really distressing. So I hope that at the end of the 30 years, when that umpteen million we forgave the loan for comes, that maybe this community will have the streetscaping near Hollywood Park actually not looking quite so weedy. I hope that those extra 45 parcels that we're going to purchase, wait a minute, for $1 million? Change was $1 million, 45 parcels. Well, I hope those individuals somewhere can be made whole. But you know, we have so many experience of the past that we haven't treated the people of our community very well at all.
Aldine Sly, First District. I just have two admonitions for the council and the staff and the mayor. Living in this country today, seeing the kind of problems that we are experiencing, I'd like to piggyback on what Mr. Fisher said regarding the youth and doing things for our youth. The admonition is a country, a state, a city. If you have no respect for your youth, you have no future. The other admonition, following Ms. Soprano, is democracy behind closed doors dies. Just remember that.
Heather Austin, District 2. I want to piggyback on what Joe Testeria was saying about Inglewood News and about all the stuff went on with the election. I just want to piggyback on one thing. It wasn't, I wanted District 1 and 2 to know one thing. That was our tax money that was used for this election. $500,000. It wasn't no one sales money. He probably got $20,000 donated. But $500,000 was put in this election for only 2,800 votes in the whole city. So what this man is saying must have some truth in it. And I wanted to ask one other thing. District 1 and 2 councilmen, are you allowed to talk at all? I know you rubber stamps, but are you allowed to even speak? You didn't win this race. That's our money. Tax money was used. Remember that. Nobody volunteered and donated you no money.
My name is Willie A.G., and I'm not going to let the naysayers spoil a perfect day for me. I was at the forum today, and let me tell you, this was a historical day for the city of Inglewood. No matter what the naysayers say, this was a historical day for the city of Inglewood. Mayor Butts, I want you to be here for many, many years because of the job that you're doing. I support you. I support this council 200%. You're here to represent 115,000 people, not 4 or 5 naysayers. Not even me. I know I have a right to get up here and complain. They have a right to get up and complain. But you people were elected to represent 115,000 people in this city. And I'm proud of you for doing it. I am proud of this council. You're getting the work done. You're not staying here until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and not get anything done. That's what happened when you let people come up here and lie, call you liars, and everything else in the book. You are doing what the people elected you for, even if it only takes 20 minutes. As a citizen of Inglewood for 52 years and a big taxpayer, I commend you. Keep on doing what you're doing. Councilman Dotson, Councilman Padilla, I'm so happy to see you guys up there. Common sense have come back to the city of Inglewood. Keep doing your job. And staff, so proud of you. Don't pay any attention to the naysayers. They don't know any better. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, city staff. First of all, I too passed through the forum this morning. It was a great sight to see. You saw all the media trucks lined up outside, and it was good to see Inglewood back on the map again. We're taking our place on the international map. They're going to have to now draw a circle right next to Los Angeles and say, now that's where Inglewood is, right there at the south part of Los Angeles, because we're getting ready to take our place. And it's been a long time coming. I've been coming here for years and years and years, and I remember these things first starting and just trying to push these things along, and it's come to a head now. And we're on the front page today. It won't be the last time we're on the front page. We'll be on the front page many more times in the years to come. Couple of things I wanted to do. I want to second that request by Mr. Davis of Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder has been here the whole time, and I've done a couple of things with him consistently over the years since he's been doing the Christmas party and that sort of thing. So I like that. The Eagles are okay, and I know Hotel California and Chevy Levy, all that sort of thing. I know those too, because when I was in school, it was during the time that Motown was going into a sinkhole, and all of a sudden rock came along, so I had to learn those songs too. So I know the people that they're planning on getting here, and I can sing the songs too. The kids. I mentioned the kids last week. I'm looking forward to putting up a bond for this city and supporting a $1 million bond so we can get a huge center for our kids. When you start celebrating these athletes and the professional entertainers that'll be coming here, some of them will be from Inglewood. We need to take advantage of that and start these things right now so that when our time comes around, there'll be enough people here to celebrate and talk about it. So we want big bonds for that. Hollywood Park tomorrow is just around the corner. Remember when we started on Hollywood Park tomorrow? It's just around the corner, and that's the next big thing that's going to say. See that little spot? That's the same one I was telling you about. That's Inglewood. We're going to be there too. So encouraging everybody, get your sleep at night, get up in the morning, be here. Let's get the work done because we got a bright, bright future for the people that are looking forward to this city taking its rightful place in the world.
Thank you, Mr. Bimbo. And the Eagles' best song was I Can't Tell You Why.
Hotel California.
Oh, I can't tell you why. I'm sorry.
Gil Matthew, District 4. I'd like to make one thing abundantly clear. I respect all people's opinion, good, wrong, or indifferent. And I would hope that we, the people, could understand because someone disagreed with your opinion. They're not naysayers. They just as a valid reason to give their opinion as you are. So you have to come up another level. And as far as the council, you are human beings. Now, I will never knowingly attack any of you, but I will disagree with you politically on opinion. Now, for the first time in the history of Inglewood, people are understanding the color is green. It's not black, it's not white, it's not brown, green or gray, it's green. It's money. This is USA. So understand that. It'll go a long way. Now, as far as the two businesses we have coming in, yes, they recognize green. And along with that, we have to have equal treatment. That's the only thing I'm insisting on. No handout, just a hand up. equal treatment. That's all. And I think, now, I don't have much time to go through a lot of things, but I think we should have a community meeting in room A where you can talk to the residents and understand what people are feeling, because it's not being programmed here. And Centinela Park is no longer there. It's Ed Vincent's Park, and I would respect everybody to remember that, because I take offense when I hear, oh, Centinela Park. It's still Centinela Park. It's Ed Vincent's Park. That's the name of it. You don't like the name? Change it. All right, now we have Mr. City Attorney. You're making statements that you take votes in closed session, unless I misheard one of these councilmen. That's illegal. Next thing, I heard that you took a trip, 3 of you, go back to Washington, we come back, got all the alcohol. Is that legal to have 3 members of the majority of the council go anywhere to discuss business? I mean, these are the things that you should consult with the city attorney. He's straight out of Compton. And he knows it.
Thank you, Mr.
He knows better.
Mr. Matthew, thank you. We close public comment. It's council comment. Councilman Dotson.
Thank you, Mayor. I had one of the staff pinch me today because I couldn't believe how far Inglewood has come. I went to the forum. I was thoroughly impressed. From the time I walked on the grounds, they treated us like royalty. These people from the forum are from the Madison Square Garden are so happy to be here and be a part of Inglewood. And I, for one, am so grateful for them for coming here. This forum project has put us on the world stage. And they want to be here. So I want Inglewood to be proud of what has been accomplished here. These people are going to be putting a lot of money into that forum. And I, for one, am proud of our mayor, who went to bat for us. That was an eyesore for years. And had he not went out on a limb and did the negotiation with probably some of the other council members, it would still be an eyesore. Now it's going to be a tax producer. And Inglewood is on the world stage because of it. And I'm proud of that. And I'm so proud to be a part of this council. You have people up here who really work for this city. Now I know whatever it is that people come here and they want, I want to hear what they want. And I understand that we're going to disagree, but I'm one of the people who believe that we can all agree to disagree and do it in a manner that no one gets hurt. So anyway, I thank you all for coming, but I'm telling you, I am so happy for myself and this city today that I could almost burst. Thank you very much, and come back again.
Thank you. Councilman Padilla.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, again, I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their busy schedules to come and hear what's all the good things that we're doing in our community. And it's important for you to come up and let us know your thoughts about the decisions that we're making. A gentleman came up here a minute ago, talked about having a meeting in Community Room A to hear what the our residents are saying. Again, like I said last week, we don't have to wait to have a big meeting in Community Room A. All council members and the mayor and city staff are available to meet with you anytime you want to talk about what's happening in our beautiful communities. Matter of fact, I had the pleasure last Saturday of attending a town hall meeting in District 1 by Councilmember Franklin. I'm sorry, 4. Very well put together. The attendance was over 100 people. I'm sure he'll touch on it, but again, these are the type of positive things that we're doing to connect with our communities. We're attending block club meetings. We're having impromptu meetings as we're going through our daily business in our communities here in Inglewood. So please know that it's important for all of us to stay connected. And if you see us out there, don't hesitate to stop and talk with us. We're just as caring as you are about what's happening with our community. I do want to just express the appreciation from Mr. Richard Heath regarding the proclamation that was presented to his father, Mr. Charles Heath, at his funeral last Saturday by the mayor. In attendance were also other council members and the chief of police. And Mr. Heath appreciated the support that the community has given to him and his family during this trying time. As it relates to community involvement, a few of us had an opportunity to attend the VFW breakfast this past Sunday morning to connect with those that have paid sacrifices for us to be here and have the freedom that we have in these council meetings. Mr. Spencer, I look forward to attending your event this weekend, time permitting. It's very important for us to stay connected and stay engaged, as I mentioned earlier. As it relates, and I just want to touch on this real quick, look, when we ran our campaigns, not one penny of taxpayers' dollars came to our campaign, so put that to rest. Again, thank you all for coming out here, giving of your time, and thank you to staff for assisting us throughout the week when we get our packets with the questions that we have to be able to clarify the issues so that we don't have to sit here on a Tuesday night and bicker and go back and forth because we didn't do our homework. And like I told folks during the campaign, you can bet that we're going to do our homework ahead of time so that you don't have to sit through all that nonsense and be here so we can run a city business the way it should be run. So thank you again.
Thank you, Councilman Morales.
I'll just briefly touch on the festivities for today. You know, it's great to see when investors really bring in their real money to the city of Inglewood. You know, that's what it takes. And I have to tell you, regardless of what we think we are, I can tell you that people outside of Inglewood, they're not going to bring in $100 million if they don't believe in our city and its future. So that's a bottom line. I mean, we could say whatever here. It doesn't matter, you know. To my colleagues, you know, I have to tell you, they're doing a great job. You know, their impact is immediate. You know, they don't. It's great to hear all of the comments here, both comments, positive comments and criticism. But the truth is, we've been called everything from, I guess, turkeys, blind mice, a bunch of stuff, right? Bobbleheads, a bunch of stuff. Yeah. And I have to tell you, but we move on. The city moves on, and and today is a result of so many positive decisions that were being made, and the leadership, mayors, otherwise. Did a great job, and the truth is that today we're on every news channel, okay, in a positive way. You can't beat it. I just got some phone calls. We were on all over the news, and I think it's great. You know, it's okay to celebrate a moment and then continue to go on. So I just wanted to thank you guys for coming out. It really was a good day, and you know, see you next meeting.
Councilman Franklin.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. First of all, let me thank all of the residents that came to the District 4 Town Hall meeting this past Saturday. And we truly had a broad range of all the council mag districts in attendance. And there was a lot of positive information that was disseminated, reactions that was exchanged among ourselves was outstanding. I think it was also fair fitting that I had my colleague Alex Padilla join us for the first time to be recognized in the community and at the town hall meeting, as well as part of his staff, as well as Councilmember George Dotson's assistant being there as well, to be able to get a feel as to what goes on in town hall meetings. And more particularly, I want to special thanks the mayor, who and his busy schedule came through and gave a tremendous boost to the purpose of having town hall meetings and the outreach that we're working together as a team. And then following that same sense of energy came Congressman Maxine Waters and Assemblymember Steve Bradford. I thank all of them for being in attendance. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the staff, particularly Mr. Fields, let everyone know that I appreciate all their efforts, particularly with the residential sign insulation issues that became a pertinent issue, that we made sure that the residents knew up front that we are moving this project forward. The leadership we have on this council and the staff that is supporting this council is making things happen. We talk about job opportunities with the Workforce Investment Board. They have current jobs, training people to get ready for jobs, including construction jobs. We also had Madison Square Gardens that was there that did their outreach identifying that they are in fact looking for signups right now for people that are interested to learn more about their vision and wanting to get on board. We was elated to learn today that over 120 Inglewood residents are gainfully employed right now with Madison Square Gardens. We have Operation Creep, in which the Republic trash haulers spoke up, also known as Consolidated Disposal Service, identifying that what accomplishment they've made in the first year of the amount of tonnage that's been removed, and they're meeting their threshold of reaching the goal of trying to have 30 full-time employees gainfully employed from the city of Inglewood, and they're almost more than halfway there as well. And then I want to make sure I reach out to the police chief and the Lieutenant Freed, who also talked about crime in the city and how it's been suppressed dramatically, and that Lieutenant Freed addressed the homeless issues that was throughout the city as well. And then finally, my final comments is to identify that today was the announcement of the revitalization and grand reopening of the Fabulous Forum. To me, it was a resurrection, in which here we have a organization that identified that there was a diamond in the rough, and it needed to be buffed out again. It got resurrected, and this body all made it happen, along with the consensus of the community and the stakeholders who all participated. And so on that note, thanks everyone for coming, and thank you, Mayor. Bye.
You know, first, there's so much I want to acknowledge. I'll start with Councilman Franklin's town hall meeting. Best attended meeting I've ever seen in that facility. Councilman Padilla was there with commissioners and residents from District 2. I saw Councilman Padilla, Councilman Dotson at the VFW breakfast, and at several events I saw multiple council people. There's a whole different vibe in this city right now, whole different feeling. And it's not always reflected by the speakers at the podium, but this, I think, obviously, Councilman Padilla, Councilman Dotson have had an impact on the whole way this city sees its government, and I thank them for that. I thank Councilman Franklin for hosting just a wonderful town hall meeting. I've been in public service for 41 years now, going on 42 years. And I've had some very proud moments. I never had a prouder moment than today at this press conference that was attended by well over 70 news media and received international coverage. The city of Inglewood today was on the front page of the Los Angeles Times. He's got it right there. Mr. Davis has it right there. And yet still on this grandest day for us in such a long time, we still had people come to the podium and try to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory by talking about some arcane, alleged thing that happened years ago, as though that's supposed to dampen and taint what happened here. At some point, you'll have to accept that there are good things that happen. This is a wonderful thing. And I would tell the residents that this is not the end, but this is definitely a defining moment. And I've just never been prouder to be a resident. I'm proud for the city. I'm proud of the staff, the work that was done in the 2-year process to fashion this deal. I would tell anyone again that the $18 million loan is still in escrow, and it won't be received by Madison Square Garden until they spend at least $50 million in addition to the $23 million they've spent to purchase the forum. They estimate the project to be somewhere by completion about $100 million investment. And to use and then they will receive a loan, and then it'll be forgiven over a period, I believe, 10 years, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. If they meet their performance guarantees to the city, they're required to meet a certain threshold of return to the city. So, no, this is a good thing, and it's one of the best things that I've seen happen to a city. I'm proud to be a resident of the city. I want all of you to be proud, and I'm proud of this council. This has been, this is what I always thought serving in government would be like, what we have right now. So I'm going to adjourn the meeting.